Bronze, silver, and gold. Welcome back to Sound of Siren. I'm Xavier.
I'm Dylan. Welcome back to another episode. And today we have not really a special guest anymore, but it's Darcy. We've basically adopted him. How are you today, Darcy?
I'm not too bad, mate. I'm really looking forward to this series we're going to be running throughout the year, the Supercoach series. I rate my chances this year, and yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Awesome. Zave, anything else? Should we just get into it?
Nothing from me.
All right. So we'll start with the locks of each
Although,
team.
Dylan,
Oh, just a second.
although
I'd
I
like
think
to hear.
Darcy wanted to
I
build a
I
little bit
would
of
like to hear.
credibility to see where we were, what our best ranking was. So do you want to
Yeah,
start, Dylan?
My bad. My bad.
I would like to hear about your Supercoach resume.
All yours, Zave.
I think you should start. I think yours is the most impressive.
I
So
would like to hear yours, Dylan.
To
I
be
am
honest,
your
mine
Supercoach.
actually wasn't that bad. For a year six or year five, I was in 2014, coming 15,000th. That isn't too bad.
it's incredible, Dylan.
What about you, Xavier?
It's not amazing, but it's
Top
seven
top
years ago.
15, top 30%. It's all right.
My best was in 2018. I finished 802nd. So I think it's pretty comfortably my best result. If I can get back up there this year, I'm not sure that I will, but I hope we can.
Yeah, for me, I've got to finish around 3,900th in 2019. Had a bit of a rubbish year last year. There's a lot going on, a lot of changes throughout the weeks. So I reckon this year going to bounce back and hopefully top 1,000.
Let's get into the locks, and we'll go by position. And first is the defense. For me, it's Rory Laird from the Crows. His consistency last year and previous years has been impeccable, and hopefully he doesn't get injured. But yeah, I do believe he's probably the defender to have at the start of this year.
I 100% agree. I think Rory Laird is the player that I will have started the most throughout my Supercoach career, along with Patrick Dangerfield and Grant Birchall. I think they're the ones that I've had at round one the most. But Rory Laird, obviously, still dominating, and he's got to be my first pick in defence this year.
Yep, I'd have to agree with you there on that one. Rory Laird does look excellent at the moment, and he's got locked in that midfield spot now. I feel like usually he finishes around average of 101, 105-ish, between that sort of area. But I reckon we could be looking at 110 plus this year as a consistent midfielder. So, yeah, he's been my first picked for this season. Oh, second picked, but yeah.
Yeah, obviously Rory Laird is a switcher, so he's a defender and a midfielder. I forgot that. So yeah, Darce has him in his midfield. And Darce, who is your lock for the midfield?
Lock is Lockie. Like, my lock is Lockie Neal. He's very highly priced, and my rule, probably running since I started Supercoach in 2015. Lockie Neal's always my first pick player, favorite player, and best player. So he's my lock.
I'd have to agree with you there. He is quite expensive, but for the numbers he's producing, he's 100% worth it.
My lock in the midfield is a little bit different to what I think most people will have. And I think compared to his previous years, he wasn't good at all last year, and uh, his Supercoach numbers showed that. And I think this year a lot of people haven't picked him based on his performance last year. But I'm going with Patrick Cripps. His price is 523.7 thousand. So at that price, he was the first pick for just about my entire team. I know last year he was priced about 100k more than that at like 650 and was the most picked person in the whole league. So at a 100k discounted price from what he was last year, I have to pick him.
I do have him picked as well. I agree with you there with his prices being low, and I see Carlton on the ups this year. So yeah, I'd agree with that one. And I also rate Bontempelli as another quick lock there. It's a bit hard to predict what's going to happen with the Bulldogs midfield with there being so many good players. And I was having a look at it. Josh Dunkley is the sixth highest priced midfielder for Bulldogs. That's just the quality of their midfield. So it's pretty hard to predict, but based on just even his preseason game, 198, 3 goals, I feel like I've got Bontempelli locked in too.
It's no hate to Lockie Neal either from me because I do have him selected as well. I just think Cripps is a little bit more of a lock due to his discounted price.
I'd have to disagree. I had Paddy Cripps. I removed him just recently, and it was hard for me to remove him. So that's really the only reason. He's great for the price, though. I'm not saying he's not a good player. He's obviously a star. But I don't have him at the moment, and that may change. There's still 3 days till the season starts, and I thought my team was fine before today, and I ended up making a few more trades. So 100% think he's a great player, but at the moment I don't have him.
The Carlton fan in me, Dylan, is telling you you're a little bit of an idiot for not having him, but the Supercoach player in me is telling me, well done, Dylan. The more people that don't have Patrick Cripps in their team, the better for both Darcy and I. So please don't pick him if you're out there. I'm happy to take his 130 plus
Cripps
scores.
is a rubbish player. Do not pick him.
Correct.
And to the rucks, Darcy.
This one's another interesting thing. I'll talk about that one later. But the template is Grundy gone, and it has been for the last 3 years. I feel like it's just the easy layup pick. Both of them seem to be pretty consistent with their scores, but I've only locked in Grundy this year at this point. So Grundy is my lock because he's a bit of a lower price than Gorn. Probably similar outputs.
Yeah, my locks are Grundy and Gorn. If I had to select one, I really couldn't decide. I've got them both, locked them in.
Yeah, I've got both Grundy and Gorn. I'm sure most people will. But if I had to pick one, it's got to be Grundy. He's over 100,000 cheaper than Gorn is, and I don't really see a world where he's not going to be a top 2 ruckman. So
and to the forward, Xav?
This one's a tough one. I think I'm going to go with Jack Zeeble, and with not much confidence, because I know a lot of rookies is not what we have this year. We've got almost no rookies in most positions, in particular the back line. So I think Zeeble has a little bit of potential to go up a little bit more in not only price, but in scoring value compared to some of the other rookies that we otherwise would have on field. He's at a very discounted price at 257k, and I think he might do a little bit better than that.
This might be the greatest call by Xavier on the podcast.
Just quickly, do you know about his moving position this year?
Yep, to the halfback flank.
Yeah, I did think
playing from halfback flank. I'm not sure how that'll go. He's not the quickest bloke, but
he'll rack up the possessions though. Just quiet.
No, I think he will. He reads the ball pretty well.
Yeah.
So I think he'll find it well enough. I'm not sure that he'll use it the best, but I think he'll find it well enough.
I agree with you, Zave. Great call. I wasn't going to say Zeeble, but I do have him in my team. I think the regular call would be Patrick Dangerfield, putting him in as a forward. I think Darcy was alluding to him before.
Yeah, I'd also go with Dangerfield. You can make a debate for Dustin Martin, but I feel like Danger's just a lock. He's just every year very consistent.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of teams again without Patrick Dangerfield. I'm not one of them. I do have Dangerfield locked in at F1, but I had Zeeble just in front of him as far as lock. But I think, at least of my lifetime, Dangerfield's probably the best fantasy player I've seen, because every single year he's been in the best, and the couple of years he hasn't been ranked 2, 3, 4, he's been forward eligible. So it's just another string to his arrow.
And just quickly,
sorry,
the forwards. Are you going to take Zeeble or Danaher? I'm guessing Zeeble. Similar prices.
I've got Zeeble, but I've also got Lockie Whitfield in my team, and I need to make money to get Whitfield to Jake Lloyd due to Whitfield not playing, assuming that Lloyd does play. So if Lloyd plays, and we know Whitfield isn't, I might have to get both of them in order to get the money to get to Lloyd. But we'll see. What
would your reaction be if I said both, Das?
Well, it depends on if one of them's your second best forward, then that's a big no. But if they're sitting at your F3, F4, I don't mind it.
Yeah.
I myself would prefer a premium at F3. I've got Isaac Heaney there, but you could look at other blokes around the mark, even Dunkley, or you could have even Zach Butters. I don't mind him. I feel like he's only going to get better. So personally, I prefer F3 to be a premium, but yeah, it sort of depends on the structure of your forward. If you have both of them, F4 and F5, I'm pretty content if they're both there. All right, now I've got a big talking point here, boys. It could affect some of the selections you make greatly. So are you aware of the new changes in the rules?
Mm-hmm.
No.
So
Wait, maybe.
the man on the mark for kick out
Yeah,
is 5 meters behind. And then there's a decrease in interchange by 15. So 15 less rotations. And then obviously the man on the mark rule that's kicked up a lot of fuss about it. They made a big impact on the preseason games. And some of those impacts, I reckon, could affect some of our best picks. So in the preseason games, so pretty small sample size, but this is just comparing. So for stoppages, in 2019, there'd be an average of 58 per game, 2020, 66 per game. And then in the preseason games, it was 47 per game. So that's about a 20 stoppage drop. So you take that into account for a ruck, like a Grundy or a Gorn, that's 20 less opportunities at hitouts. And then you also take into account some of the big clearance guys like a Cripps, potentially a 5-2. There's a lot less stoppages around the ground, and that could play into the hands of running midfielders. So I do think that there could be a bit of a switch into more of a winger, getting more points due to more chances, uncontested marks, than, say, the inside Bulls.
So that was just for the preseason games, but we'll quickly move on now to the cash cows. And as you can see, I'm in a new scenery. I mean, that's because of some internet problems. I've tried to announce the cash cows about 3 times, but now we'll move on to it. And the first one is Tanner Brune, sorry, should I say, just announced he'll be making his debut. He kicked 4 in the preseason game, and in my opinion, he's worth taking a punt on.
I do have Brun in my team at the moment. Yeah, if he's getting a game, I feel like with the lack of rookies, you've sort of got to pick him. I had a look at his stats. He averaged 17 disposals in the NAB League. I feel like that's not very high, so I don't expect great output from him. But a playing rookie, pretty much, that's a rare commodity at this point in time. So I think you'd have to pick it.
Currently, he's not in my team. One of the main reasons is because I can't afford him. I've only got $4,000 in my salary cap, so pretty big issue that I have there. But I can't afford to even get above a 123k rookie at the moment. So that's pretty much the number one reason I don't have him. But I wouldn't discourage anyone else from getting him. Obviously, 4 goals is great.
The next one, Braden Campbell from the Swans, 189,000, and he was taken with the 5th pick. He's been said to be better than Rao, and for this price, I think he's a must-have as a rookie.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I was going to mention the comparison to Rao and being better than him. I feel like that talk coming from anyone, and the way Rao started last year, I feel like you'd have to pick him. And just quickly, I had a quick look at it. Rao as a player, 495k. Would you say that's overpriced or underpriced?
Just right, I think.
Yeah, just right.
Yeah. So in his 4 uninjured games, considering his first game he only scored 80.
Yeah.
In his 4 uninjured games, he averaged 127 points.
Yeah.
I feel like that's very high for a player who's under 500k. I know it's a small sample size, but if we're saying that's anywhere near his average, that's very high for a bloke under 500k.
That's exactly right. But so based purely on the averages, he's underpriced. But then again, you even said it yourself, it's a small sample size. So paying 450k is a lot for someone that's only played 4 games. But then paying 450k isn't a lot for someone that's averaged 120 in those 4 games, which is why I think he's just right.
The next one, Tom Powell from Darcy's rebuilding Kangaroos, and I think he'll spend a fair bit of time on the ground this year.
Yeah, for sure. I've got him locked in, and I'm putting him over Will Phillips at this point.
He's another one of those like slightly elevated in price rookies due to being a pretty high pick at 153k. So as I said before, I can't afford the GWS boy Tanner Brune.
Tanner Brune.
So which one would you prefer out of those 2, do you think? Because at the moment,
I'm on Powell.
Yeah,
at the moment,
Powell's going to get more game time, more reliability on him.
Another GWS rookie who's just been announced alongside Brune to make his debut, Ruckman Matthew Flynn, 123,900, and it's between him or Paul Hunter from the Saints, who's 102,000 to have a solid backup ruckman.
Yeah, I got Hunter. He's cheaper. He's the number one ruck of the Saints.
Yeah.
I feel like that's just a pretty easy pick.
I don't have either of them at the moment. I've got Tracy, 102k.
Freaky.
Obviously, I was going to do the R3 captaincy loophole, but I don't. I know I sent you the message the other day telling you there's no way I'm going to get the St Kilda ruckman, but I think I might have to get him in.
If you get cheap, I've just decided it's just an easy 100, 200k in value.
Yeah, because there aren't many other rookies elsewhere, and we know Ryder's going to miss extensive time. Obviously, he's left the state, as well as you said Marshall in our last episode. You said Marshall's out for 6 weeks, so I might have to get him in. At the moment, I don't, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him in my team after round one.
I think Ryder will be back very soon, though. He's only gone to see his kid for a week or two, so that's why I chose Flynn over him. The final rookie of the selection is a man from Adelaide, James Rowe, and I marvelled at his SANFL highlights, and playing for the Crows who are in rebuild mode, he'll have plenty of opportunities to capitalise on.
Just easy lock-in. He had some great stats in the SANFL. I think it's pretty hard to just ignore any of them. Especially being on the Crows, he's going to fit straight in as a small forward there, and hopefully he'll perform pretty well.
Yeah, obviously we know James Rowe, but Jack Zeeble, I said before, was the number one lock in my forward line, and I might be mistaken, and I think it's probably James Rowe. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's the number one picked person in the forward line, but at 123k, he's bargain basement, and he's a must-have, I think.
Now, do you have anything else to say on the cash cows before we quickly move on, or we'll move on to the players to watch? But Darcy, anything on the cash cows?
What are our opinions on? I got two blokes. I've got Kaczynski, and do we think that it's going to be anywhere near sustainable, the score he got on the weekend? So obviously he scored 5 goals. That's not going to be sustainable. But do we think he'll be scoring decently, talking 60s range?
Yeah, I think he's a must-have. I didn't actually mention him, but I do have him on the bench, funnily enough. But yeah, I've got him for sure.
Yeah, he had 6 goals, 3 in his game, and had 6 goals at three-quarter time. So he's a must-have. As you said, that's not going to be sustainable to keep kicking bags of 5. But I'm not sure he's going to have the biggest scores. He's a 196 centimeter key. He was a key defender, recruited as a key defender, but he's going to play as a key forward. But we know key forwards are a little bit inconsistent. He might have a couple of really big games, but he's going to have some pretty poor ones as well. But I think he's got job security, and more job security than anyone else in the defence. There's just about no one else in the defence, period. So he's a must-have as well.
And quickly, opinions on Finlay McRae.
I personally don't have him, but possibly. I'll wait till the team's released.
I've traded him out and traded him back in a couple of times, but if he plays, he's going to be in my team the second it gets announced. So at the moment, he's not in my team, but he will be if he plays, for sure.
All right, I'm going to play a quick game with the pair of you. I just want a yes or a no, and I've got about 10 names here, maybe a little more, and at the end we'll come back to the no, and I'll ask you why. So our first name, Isaac Cumming, 288,000.
No.
No.
Nick Hind, 331,000.
Yes, if you can fit him in a D4 or 5.
No.
Hayden Young, 279,000.
No.
Jordan Clark, 241,000.
Yes.
Yes.
Tom Phillips, 402,000.
No.
Depends where you're putting him. If he's a forward, it's a maybe, but midfield, no.
Okay. Jai Caldwell, 348,000.
No.
Alir, 318,000.
No.
No.
Orazio Fantasia, 281,000.
No.
No. Or maybe for Fantasia.
I feel like he's got an average probably around 50, 60. I don't think that's enough for a bloke that highly priced. Not highly priced, but you're going to get rookies that are cheaper than that, scoring that much. So I feel like it's easy to go cheaper.
Jarman Impey, 212,000.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Depends on the structure.
Lockie Young, 202,000.
No.
I don't mind him. I'm leaning more yes than no.
We've only got 6 left. Tyson Goldsack, 182,000.
No.
I agree with you there. Michael Frederick, 175,000.
No.
No.
Mark Hutchings, possibly coming back from injury, 157,000.
No.
Lachlan Jones, 139,000.
No.
Yes.
Wait, how much?
139.
Or maybe.
I currently have him as my D6, I believe.
And the final one, Rory Thompson, 123,000, who's coming back from injury.
What position? Defense?
Defense, I believe, yep.
Yeah, maybe. Because I need defenders, but ideally I wouldn't have him. And I'm not sure if he'll play, but if he does, maybe, because I need cheap defenders.
I was just going to say, I'd say yes to Cumming, Hind, Young, Clark, Phillips, and Lachlan Jones, I believe. And I'll explain why when we'll move on to the next segment. I'll explain why.
Yeah, and just quickly, I got one. Nikolai Cockatoo, 123k for Brisbane.
Once he's ready to play, yes, definitely.
Yeah, once he's ready to play. So I'll just explain the theory behind Isaac Cumming, Hayden Young. They're taking the kick-outs, and I know Hayden Young took 9 on the weekend, Cumming took 8. And those blokes who take the kick-outs really do rack up the points. So that was my explanation behind having them. I only have one of them on my team, and we'll see in a moment. But we'll move to the team reveal. And Darcy, do you want to go first?
Yes, I will do that one. I've gone for an interesting name this year. It's a bit controversial. We do have a few Richmond fans in a small league we've got, so I thought it's a decent dig at them. So here's a big reveal. Here is the reveal of the Mistress Hardwick team. So yeah, I've gone a pretty interesting backline there for me. So I've stuck with Laird.
Yeah.
I do hope to get Lloyd in. I'd probably get Lloyd in instead of Haynes or Howe if named.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've gone a bit left field with Haynes and Howe. I feel like Short's pretty decent, pretty solid pick that I think would be highly picked, especially with the recent performance. Then I've got Clark Jones. I feel like they're both quite solid. Kazitsky and Highmore. If Highmore actually gets the game, I'll have him in.
Yeah.
But if not, I'll probably go to someone else. And then, I've got Big Lockie Neal in the middle. My rule, I've always got to have him in. First picked. I've got Bontempelli, Fife, Cripps, Rao. I think that's pretty template sort of side. You could swap a Bontempelli for an Oliver, Petrarca, or a McRae, but I have more faith in Bontempelli at this point in time. Fife, I think you got to have Fife in pretty much at that price, and he's still going to be the best midfielder at Fremantle. Still a chance for Brownlow even. Cripps, Rao, pretty understandable. We already talked about them. Tanner Brun, talked about him. Powell, McRae, and then my bench is Downey, Golden, and Scott. I rate Scott the highest out of them, to be honest. I think he'll probably be my emergency for the weekend.
Yeah.
But I do feel, I'm not too sure about the mid bench for that one. I have got Grundy and Draper. I tossed up a Grundy and Hunter or a Grundy and Flynn starting rucks, but I just don't really want to fall too far behind after the first round and be chasing the whole season if I do go that rookie instead of a Gawn that you guys would have. Hunter on the bench. And then I've got Dangerfield, Martin, Heaney, Danaher. I'm not sure about Danaher. I'm pretty solid with those top three. I'm not too sure about Danaher with that one. I might be thinking about Jack Siebel after this one.
Mm-hmm.
But it's Danaher at the moment for me. It could go up to Siebel or down to Dow, depending on funds I need. Campbell and Rowe, I do feel like talked about them, pretty easy picks. Waterman, I'm not sure he's going to get a game anymore, so I'll probably change him to someone else if he doesn't get a game.
Yeah.
And Brockman, yeah, I just feel like Hawks are going to try to get a few new players this season. So, yeah, that's my team for the point.
Very, very solid. If I had to disagree with two, I'd say Fife because I believe he's playing up forward for a fair amount of time this year, and Dusty Martin sometimes has a slow start to the season, but both guns often reliable. But yeah, solid team, Dust. Very solid
I
team.
usually think about when I'm picking my premiums, what I want them to see there round 23 if I'm in the grand final, not necessarily what I want to see them after round 3.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah, I like it. I like the team a lot, Darcy. I think it closely resembles my team, at least as far as premiums go. But then you got the extra 2 in defence. I think it was Jeremy Howe and someone else, which I really did like. And then I was looking around to see where the money's coming from, and I saw that you didn't have Gorn. So
yeah,
I'm not sure if that's for me. It's a little bit riskier.
I agree with you, Xav. I do agree.
Yeah, my idea of it is that I'm hoping Paul Hunt will get around to 350k, and Drape will get around to 550, and that's the easy transfer there. So that's only 2 trades needed for that one.
I do have a fair bit of uncertainty surrounding Phillips, I will say before I screen share. And this is the reveal of Dylan's dashes. So we're starting the defense. Pretty different to yours, to be honest, Darce. And I do have Hayden Young, as I mentioned. Duggan's playing in the midfield. That's my reasoning. And then Lloyd, if he plays, that's pretty much a certain 100. I'm seeing some questionable faces from Darce over here.
Yeah, it's interesting having Clark in your midfield. It's what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
I feel like if you've got the defensive option, you always take the defensive option because there's usually better midfield rookies.
Especially this year, I think.
Yeah, especially this year.
The defensive rookies aren't that great this year, but the defensive rookies are probably the worst we've ever seen. So, other than that, so far it's looking pretty good. But I think
Neil Steele, Phillips, I'm still unsure, but I think we'll have a good year. Clark, maybe move him up to the defense, grab someone here. Gorn Grundy, Zave, I know you're on board with Gorn Grundy, and then forwards, Danger Dunkley and Zeeble, Danaher, Chad Warner, who I've taken a punt on, and then James Rowe. And on the bench, Waterman, who I believe's making his debut, Flynn, Goulden, and Briggs, who's not playing, unfortunately, but I'll have to figure out something. Yes, this is just the rough draft. There's still a few days to go.
So would you so firstly, with Daniel, I reckon you could probably find better value around that area. I don't mind the pick. But with Phillips, do you reckon, I reckon it'd be a safer punt to find 95k elsewhere and make it a row. I don't think Phillips get good enough of an output.
I was thinking possibly Phillips, move him to the forward, maybe Nick Hind, and then maybe grab Rao in the middle or something. Here is the reveal of Bud's boys.
Now, I've got a lot of money in the salary cap. That's probably the first thing you'll notice. And then you'll probably also remember that I said before I have no money in my salary cap. But that's just because, as you were speaking, I've made a couple of trades. I've cut Nat Fife in order to get Jake Lloyd because, as I said, I have Whitfield and I can't have Whitfield in round 1. So I've got a little bit more money, so I might be able to make, or I will be able to make a couple of other moves elsewhere. But I don't know, to be honest. I'm not convinced with my team yet, and it's going to have a bit of editing still to come.
Any reason you got Dangerfield in the mid, not forward?
That's because I cut Fife for him, because I didn't really like any of the other midfielders as much as I liked Fife. But then I like Danaher as the mid-priced forward option. So I changed. I dropped Fife and I swung Dangerfield into midfield, and I replaced Fife with Danaher.
Yeah. So with your remaining salary, you'd be against Fife over Rao?
Against, probably not, but I probably still wouldn't do it.
Then an extra 120-ish.
I think I might spend it somewhere else. I don't know.
Yeah.
A few of my rookies still have to get changed as well. I want to get rid of Tracy, as I was saying before, for the St Kilda.
Yeah.
And Colleen Dawkins, I don't think is going to play. In fact, I'm almost certain he won't. I don't know if Ford will play again. I'm pretty sure he won't. I'm not sure Eli Smith's playing. So there's lots of changes I still need to have, and most of them I don't think will get done until the moments leading up to the team or the moments after the teams have been announced. So
yeah, just remember you've still got unlimited trades for the rest of the round. So you just need to have your Richmond and Carlton players locked in, and then you can still be free to make changes after that.
Also, please, everyone watching this, I know you don't have Sam Docherty in your team. I got Darcy to look this up before. His ownership is only at 8.2%. Please don't steal him from me.
So that's the rough draft. I'm guessing Zave's still got plenty of moves to make off with the salary remaining. I'm guessing you do. That's the Supercoach special, the first episode, and we'll make progress on our trades in the next episode, which will be released before the start of game week 2.
24. We've got a long way to go.
Absolutely. So hopefully we can keep this up, and let us know if you enjoy it. Anything else to say, boys? Darcy, once again, thanks for joining.
Yep, thanks for having me on, boys. Really looking forward to this season. We'll be watching very excitedly on Thursday for footy to return. And hoping for a cheeky Richmond loss. That'd be nice.
Go Blues.
I'm sure Xavier would love that too, the Blues. But thank you for watching episode 1. It's a long journey ahead of us, and Xavier and I will continue to produce these podcasts, and Darcy won't really be a guest anymore. So,
yeah.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Make sure to like and subscribe.